This is episode 58 of the Online Playmaker sessions with author, speaker, and marketing consultant Adam Holland.
Welcome to the Online Playmaker sessions. This is the place for the latest what's working now strategies from the best online playmakers, the top marketers, the rising stars who are making it happen right now. Every week, you'll get real, actionable lessons that you can take and apply immediately in your business, delivered in short 20-minute sessions. Our focus is your results. Here's your host, entrepreneur, world-class trainer, and marketing strategist, Norbert Orlowitz.
Hello, online playmakers. If this is your first time tuning into the Playmaker sessions, thank you for choosing us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, and if you prefer video, our YouTube channel at onlineprofitplaybook.tv. As with all of our episodes, we have all the show notes, transcripts, and actionable tips over on the blog. Just head over to www.onlineprofitplaybook.com. You'll also be able to get access to my complimentary 5-video tutorial series on building the proper foundation for your online business, as well as several other free trainings, including my Instant Income Multiplier tutorial. And if you're ready to multiply your results fast, check out the premium membership of our Online Profit Playbook, where our guests open up their closely guarded playbooks and walk you step by step through the exact marketing funnels and sales process they use to build their audience, grow their influence, and make sales. Get the coveted Online Profit Playbook today. Just head over to onlineprofitplaybook.com and join the Playmakers. Adam Holland went from broke and unemployed to 7 figures in online revenue. He's an author, trainer, speaker, consultant, and serial entrepreneur. Adam currently runs his digital marketing agency, AdamHollandMarketing.com, and a lead generation company, GuaranteedProspects.com, that has generated in excess of 12 million visitors, 300,000 leads, and over $10 million in revenue for himself and his clients. He currently resides outside of Phoenix, Arizona with his wife, 2 kids, and a dog. This week's Online Playmaker, Adam Holland. All right, everybody, welcome back. Episode 58 of the Online Playmaker sessions. And today I've got a very special guest, a veteran in the internet marketing space. He got started way back, and he's going to tell us a little bit of that story. Right now, he runs his own marketing agency. I think together, I was looking on his website here, he's generated over 6 million visitors, $5 million in revenue, and over 500,000 leads for himself and for his clients. Marketing and traffic superstar, Adam Holland. How you doing, Adam?
What's going on, man? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
Right on. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this because it's fun to hang out with you and getting your perspective on the state of the internet and what's going on and what people need to be aware of. You've got an incredible amount of knowledge and experience in so many different areas in this industry. So I'm just excited to kind of pick your brain here for the next 20, 25 minutes and see what comes out.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to give some value to your people, man. So let's rock.
All right. Okay, so give us a quick backstory just for those people that might not know your story. Tell us how you got started in this industry and maybe share with us a little bit of the early beginnings of Adam's journey in this industry.
Awesome. Yeah. So I got started really in traditional network marketing offline and went through several years of that, ups and downs, never really made any tons of money or anything like that offline. But I knew that the secret to whether it was that business or any business, and you might have already figured this out, guys, if you're listening to this, it's traffic, it's leads, it's, getting eyeballs on whatever offer it is. And if you own a storefront, it's getting people to walk in the door. It always comes down to getting those new prospects in, right? New customer acquisition is the tech term, right? So I was like, you know what? I need to find leads. I need to figure this out. So I was doing a bunch of Google searches and stuff, and I came across this punk young kid named Jonathan Budd back at the end of 2007. And I was intrigued by his enthusiasm, but super skeptical because I'm like watching his videos. I'm like, dude, you're like in your mom's office in your house, like living with your parents still. I'm like, do you even have any credibility? Well, I'm glad that I researched him and I went with my gut on it and said, you know what, like I might be a little skeptical, but I got to see what this guy's up to. And he went on to do something like 14 million in like a couple of years or whatever online. And that was really my first introduction to what internet marketing was. I got involved in an online business opportunity, started generating leads with that and making some money. And luckily it happened at a opportune time in my life, because as I was starting to transition out of the offline network marketing space and more into the online space, I was laid off from my job. And actually this month, 2008, so 9 years ago this month, I was laid off from my job, and I was just broke, unemployed. I was like, you know what? Like I had already been through like in 3 or 4 years out of college, probably six jobs, some part-time, some full-time. And I'm like, employment is not for me. Having a boss is not for me. So I said, you know what, I'm going to draw a line in the sand. Like, we don't have kids yet. I'm like, if I'm going to have an opportunity to do this, like, let me just make this happen. And I worked some odd and end jobs for a year on and off while I was trying to build my business. But by the end of my first full-time, like the end of my first full year online, I was doing $20,000 a month. And this was still in the same apartment that we were in. We still stayed in that flat, I should say, for years after that. And we were paying maybe, I think it was $550 a month in rent in this house that was like built in 1894, and like the walls had like crackled paint and stuff, and we had a heater that it would not heat the entire house. And my office was really the back porch, which was converted really without insulation, I think, into part of the house. And so I'm like, it's the dead of winter in upstate New York, and I can't even feel my fingertips, and I'm trying to like type emails out to my list, and it was just like hustle and, just go for it, and I had nothing to lose at that point. So made it work, went through the struggles that were required to get me where I'm at now. And now I've luckily moved my family cross country to beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. I think the high is going to be 80 today in February. Don't have to shovel anything outside, luckily. And life's good. Life's good.
Yeah, big changes. So your career in this industry has really gone through some changes. Because you got started, like you said, you came from the network marketing industry. You got started in online business opportunity. And, now you've transitioned to, through affiliate marketing, and now to a point where you've actually got a marketing agency and you're serving clients, you're building funnels, you're generating traffic for people, you're doing a lot in email marketing, high level traffic that you're able to generate and to bring to your clients. Tell me a little bit about that transition. What was that transition like? What was the motivation to make that transition? I'm kind of interested in that.
Well, the interesting thing, and this is a nice point of advice for everybody here, is you need to understand what motivates you. And especially starting out in business, money might be your biggest motivator, but that might not be the long-term thing, because once you develop your skill sets enough, it becomes, well, now I can almost make money in whatever I do. You know what I mean? And there's always going to be a learning curve no matter what you do. But really what it came down to me is I was in business opportunity to start out with, and I liked the online parts of it because I could generate leads a lot quicker. But just like offline, it is a people business. And I realized that I wasn't the people person that I thought I was. I was much more of an introvert. I didn't like dealing with politics and bureaucracy with companies. So the same issues that I was having at a job, it's like I felt like the same thing was happening in the MLM space, offline or online. It didn't really matter. And the industry or any entrepreneurship type endeavor, regardless of what it is, MLM or business opportunities, or if you're going to go start a supplement business, e-commerce, whatever it is, like it's basically like you're going to give yourself like almost like not an autopsy because you're still alive, but it's basically like you're going to open yourself up, and basically it really reveals who you are inside. And you're going to go through a certain amount of struggle if you want to grow. That's basically what it comes down to. So with my transitions through the industry, I'm like, you know what? Like I need to like not be around people for a little while and not deal with this drama for a little bit. So I said, I developed my skill sets. What do I want to do? I'm going to just do affiliate marketing. And it was a great period of time in my life for, a little while. I mean, I put a bunch of money into some other projects that some worked, some didn't. But what I really realized after a couple of years doing just straight affiliate marketing is you need to be around people, and you need to have that sense of community. You need to have somebody to lean on, somebody to talk to. And I basically, the way I kind of frame that whole time in my life as like, I was basically in my nerd bat cave, behind the computer, no Robin to talk to, no Alfred even, you know what I mean? Like it was nice. The first several years in my business when we were in New York, when we were about to have kids in around 2010, my wife had a home daycare. So imagine trying to run a business and you got like screaming kids and stuff the next room over or whatever. So that was another challenge, but it allowed my wife to stay home and, grow, bring our kids up. And then when we moved to Phoenix 3 years ago, she didn't work for, the first 3 years basically that we're here. And I really realized like me, in terms of what I wanted to do in the industry, affiliate marketing is great income, but like I said, you need to have that sense of community. You need to have camaraderie, friendships, colleagues in the industry to chat with, to bounce ideas off of, to get feedback, or like I said, somebody to lean on if you're going through a struggle in business and you don't know how to overcome it. That's why you need coaches and mentors and things like that. And I was like, man, I kind of felt like I cut myself off from that. So I kind of started to go back into client work, and I started my agency. And again, no matter what business model you have, it seems like everybody that gets into the home business industry, we kind of think of it as the pie in the sky, perfect opportunity. And in many ways, like building your own list and emailing offers and having an online lifestyle business is really the perfect business, but there really is no perfect business. Everything's going to have pros and cons because, I've seen people like, I've got a e-com business. And it's like, oh, the product, there's not enough margins. Well, I'm going to start selling t-shirts instead. Just do t-shirts only. Like get focused. Right. And then they're like, oh, my Teespring account got banned or some crap or whatever. They got kicked from Facebook. So they start doing a biz op thing again. And it's just like, nothing is going to be perfect. It's picking one thing that resonates with you the best and then sticking with that. And that's kind of really where I'm excited this year is, I've been very happy with client work. I'm kind of like I love Legos. You can probably see like the Batmobile sitting behind me, the Batmobile tumbler, whatever. Like I talk about like in 2015, I think I spent like $3,500 in Legos, whatever that year between me and my family. So for me, like building sales funnels is like online Legos. It's fun just putting stuff together or whatever. So that really resonated with me. I've loved doing client work. And this year, though, I look back at the last 3 years of having my agency. I'm like, okay, client might pay me $25,000, $10,000, $50,000, whatever it is for a sales funnel, and then a retainer after that to help them manage traffic, optimize this and that. And I'm like, I've had clients that have paid me six figures, but I've made them seven or multiple seven figures. And I'm like, it sounds really good, like doing that for myself. So this year is I'm still doing a bit of client work here and there on some good projects and stuff. But this year is definitely the year of getting back to doing my own list building. Those numbers on my website are so old, but like just in the last couple of years, my lead gen company has done about 250,000 leads in addition to the agency, plus some other stuff that I've done. I'm probably over 1 million leads generated, and I'm like, I want to do that this year. If I can generate 1 million leads for myself this year, I'll be over the top ecstatic.
Those are some pretty huge numbers. And I want to dig into your brain a little bit more on the topic of traffic. But before we jump in there, let's talk about some fundamentals. And it's interesting because, you've tried different, different businesses within this industry. And we've seen a lot of people jump around because there's so many different ways to make money online, right? I mean, you can do e-commerce.
Too many.
Yeah, there's too many, right? And so, I see clients and I see friends and colleagues doing this as well. They get started in one, then they try, oh, this looks so good. Oh, this looks so good. I got to try this. And they're never seeming to, and just like you said, there is no perfect business. Mm-hmm. Every business is going to have their ups and downs. We actually tried, we played around on Amazon for a little bit doing e-commerce, had both accounts shut down. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So there's challenges and everything. There is no perfect business. Can we just address some of the fundamental things? So no matter what business people are looking at starting, what are some fundamental things that you've seen that you need to have in place, whether it's mindset or whether it's like some fundamentals of business? If you desire to have success, and it doesn't matter what business, what are some fundamental things that we've got to focus on?
I mean, even in like some of my like opt-in page videos for like business coaching kind of stuff, or even, biz op stuff, whatever it is, like I basically tell people straight out, like you really need two things in terms of getting any business started. And that's marketing and mindset, because it doesn't matter. Like if you can have all the strategies in the world, you can have every course plugged into your brain like the Matrix, and you could know everything. If the mindset's wrong, you're just screwing yourself. Like you're going to literally just set up more stumbling blocks, and you're going to, like, I've talked to so many people where it's just like, you can literally just hear what they're saying and know exactly what's wrong. And you haven't even looked at their funnel or their marketing yet. Just the words that are coming out of their mouth. It's just like, need to fix this first. You know what I mean? So, and then that again gets back to the like getting around people and talking to more people in the space, because great. And I think you might have already interviewed Ray Higdon. I think possibly, maybe not.
You know what? I haven't. I gotta get Ray on the show.
Yeah, put on the list. So Ray was great. So graciously called me out because I was. You allow swearing on your podcast?
Absolutely, man.
I was bitching pretty bad. I was being a whiny little bitch about a problem, a frustration in my business. That the frustration was, the problem was now gone out of my life, but the problem still resonated in my brain. And I literally bitched for like 5 minutes. And then I tried to finish with a Mark Hoverson. It's his famous phrase, "Now I'm over it." You know, like, but I bitched for like 5 minutes on it. Then Ray just looked at me and he goes, "Clearly you're not." So I was like, "Oh, I'm not." So like, just like a little phrase, like one sentence. And like, I went, and that was at an event, traffic and conversion. It was like, I maybe learned one whole thing, like from going to the event. And I'm like, okay, I need to watch that in my marketing more. Good. And that was probably worth $1,000 or whatever it was for the ticket. And then just hearing Ray, like, verbal 2x4 up the back of my head, it was just like, oh. And it's those moments, those more moments that you have about like that mental state that you're in, that mindset shift that you need to have, that needs to occur before you can move on to the next step. That is the stuff that really is going to set you free. And
you know what? Usually that comes from somebody else, from another person, whether it's a speaker that you hear, or it's a coach or a mentor or a colleague, like you said, over drinks or over dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
And exactly. Correcting your thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why every event I try and go to, I get VIP. To go to the cocktail hour. It's not just for the free drinks, especially I went to an event in Tempe a couple weeks ago. I won't say whose event it was, but it was one of those, here's 2 tickets, so we had a drink before we got there, had 2 drinks, with the tickets at the cocktail hour, and one of my buddies didn't show up. So I kind of got their 2 tickets too. And I'm just like, man, I'm going to be giving away like my best converting keywords and ads if I keep drinking this much. I'm like, man, like I'm going to learn a lot from other people. They're going to learn from me. I might not remember it now, but so do cocktail hour, do VIP, but within reason. That's my suggestion. It's more of my suggestion. I'm coaching myself right now, but yeah, it's interesting. The metaphor that I use with people in terms of mindset is like, if you look back when you were in kindergarten and like somebody would like, even like before that, like some kid would kick over the block tower, and you'd be like, man. A lot of people as adults, and I can even say this for myself, like my wife leaves the lights on in the house, and she leaves the room and there's like the lights on the whole floor, and like she doesn't, I'm just like, I can be like the toddler, and I'm like, nah, I'll just go and ask her to shut them, or I'll shut them off, or I'll ask the kid when they come down to shut off the lights, whatever. But it's like, we get upset over the most like trivial freaking things. Whereas like I talk about like customers that refund or, chargebacks or something, even after you spent time coaching them and they're like, no, I didn't get anything out of that. I'm like, you didn't do any of your homework that I gave you, whatever. And then you're like, oh, well, would Richard Branson or like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, would they complain about a $300 refund, or would they just keep getting busy at being becoming a billionaire? Oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't bitch and complain about this. You know what I mean? So everything like, and I hope I don't offend people when I put it this way, but I basically, and again, I use this metaphor for myself. I'm like, there's so many different parts of my business where I still feel like infantile. Like I still feel like a drooling, shitting myself type infant. I don't know what the hell I'm doing in life stage, but it's in business. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, oh, I figured this out. I've learned to crawl a little bit. And no matter what thing that you learn, even if you're a fully grown adult and you're learning something new, it's being able to be humble enough to basically say, oh, there's going to be some struggle or some confusion and frustration involved with this. Am I going to let that emotion and frustration and anxiety get a hold of me? Or is this going to seem like a freaking joke in 10 years when I've made millions of dollars and I'm financially independent and I can play freaking video games and guitar all damn day if I want to, you know, or whatever, you know. So it's having that vision of what that future life's going to be, and realize that trivial crap that you're dealing with now, it's just another, you know, just another step.
It is, and it's a step of the process, and it never ends. No matter what level we get to, or what success we have, we're always going to come up to something where it's like,
Yep, exactly, exactly. And it's great having people that are, you know, not quite at your level, where you can mentor them, and also they remind you of like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that. I got to remind myself not to do that. But then seeing the people above you that are like, oh yeah, our merchant accounts got froze with like $1 million in there or more, you know, or yeah, we had this whole call center and they all decided to like unionize and quit. And then we went from 3 million a month to nothing. That is the kind of level of, you know, problems I'm like, I don't wish upon myself, but I'm going to learn from that before I get to that stage. You know, there's a mutual friend of ours that does lots of events, and I spoke at one of his events about this time last year, and he kept asking me, he's like, you want to take another speaking spot? You know, you might want to take another, you know, spot. And I'm just like, dude, what happened to like all your speakers? He's like, well, this one guy was supposed to show up and like talk for several spots, you know, but the dude committed suicide like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I like, that was my face. I was literally like, oh shit. So you had a guy that was scheduled to speak, and he was dealing with some mental health challenges that went unhelped, and he's gone. And not only do you have to deal with the emotional stress of that around you, like, you know, in general, losing a friend, it was like, oh, you don't have that speaker, you know, and you've got to stop like, you got like 16 hours and, you know, of your event in the next 3 to 4 or 5 days, or whatever it was, you know, that needs to be full of content. It's just like, wow. Like, and so many people, when they get started online, it's so easy to criticize the people at the top of their business, the CEOs of the companies, but we don't know shit of what they've had to go through to get to that level. And it still baffles me, like some of these stories. And it's just like, it shouldn't, and I don't say these stories to like intimidate or scare people into not doing it. And I'll even be more blunt and maybe even hard on myself. Like, I've been able to achieve multiple 6 figures a year for however many years basically that I've been online. I've had so many people come on that are doing my annual income monthly, and they got started 4 or 5 years after me. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to put myself down, but I'm saying like, I didn't want to challenge myself maybe to that next level. Or when I went to go to that next level, I didn't have the proper mindset or mentorship or skill sets to get me there. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't try and like judge yourself based upon what other people's results are. You get to choose that scale of how quickly you want to grow and what kind of struggles you're willing to deal with. I, for one, was like, you know what? I don't really want to be full-on CEO with 50 employees and all this overhead and all this responsibility, because I like to travel and have lifestyle. Like we drove 6-week cross-country trip last summer. You know, when Arizona's great this time of year, when it's 110 degrees in the summer, you get the hell out. You know what I mean? So we drove Arizona, crossed down to Florida, visited my godmother, went to Disney, drove up the East Coast, visited a bunch of friends on the way back up to New York, where we're from, stayed there for 2 weeks, and then took the northern route 2 weeks on the way home and did water parks and resorts and all sorts of stuff. I can't do that if I've got 50 employees, you know, and a whole bunch of, you know, stuff, you know, the people talk about running the ship. Well, if you got the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, you got multiple ships to run, you know, at the same time. You can't, you know, go and take that kind of a lifestyle trip. So know what you want and go after it. Another big lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Having that vision for what kind of lifestyle you actually really want. Okay. We gotta jump into some traffic stuff. Let's talk about traffic. This last couple of weeks, you've been running your State of the Internet address, webinars, and kind of bringing up some issues about traffic, some of the amazing things you're doing with traffic and stuff. What are some of the myths or the misunderstandings or the big mistakes that you see a lot of marketers making when it comes to traffic? Because traffic is the holy grail. Everyone's after more traffic, and yet sometimes traffic doesn't seem to be the answer, or they're barking up the wrong tree. what are you seeing that's happening, online, and why people are struggling so much?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I can go over in terms of traffic. I think that a lot of people are trying to scale something when they don't even have the something working quite yet, and they're just talking about, I want to get lots of clicks. One of the things that I did when I first got online, because like I said, I was broke and unemployed, is I started doing SEO. And I've dove back into SEO a few times over my career, and it's definitely a very inconsistent source, and I don't recommend people start with it. However, because you're basically getting ranked on Google for a term that somebody's actually seeking out, so they've already heard about whatever this is, they're already kind of invested into researching it, their mind's already in the state of, okay, I think I might want to do this or join this or buy this. Let me just do a little bit of research. I fly in there, and Trojan horse, here's my affiliate link, whatever, get in there. And because they're already closer to the buying stage than just generic cold traffic, I realized that, I had a list of maybe 100, 150 buyers my first couple of years online, and I made tens upon tens upon tens of thousands of dollars just from that tiny little list. And it was because I realized this is a buyer's list. This is like people that are actually going out there and purchasing. And the list actually got pretty big within the end of the first 2 years. I think my list was like 25,000. I've actually since, just so you guys know too, having a nice huge list is great. Having a responsive list is much better. So if people don't open your emails or click on the links in your emails for 6 months, just delete them. That's what I do. So right now, currently my list is around my personal list on Aweber is around 6,000. And just in the last couple of weeks, I've done about 10 grand in revenue from a couple of different sources, with about another 20,000 in the pipeline. And that's just like regular offers. My agency, I just invoiced about 25 grand this week. And that was more from word of mouth kind of stuff, which doesn't even include the list, which is nice. So, but getting back to the main point of traffic here and what people kind of think is the holy grail, you can get any traffic source to convert if you're testing it separate from other traffic sources, if that makes sense. So,
that's key. That's key right there.
Right. So Facebook traffic is not going to perform the same as a solo ad. Solo ad traffic's not going to perform the same as PPV, which is pop-up advertising, pay-per-view advertising, or pop-up or pop-under. So I did a course way back in 2010 called PPV Prodigy, and I basically told people, I'm like, this is my first, from SEO going into paid marketing, and I figured out how to make it work and was doing a real good killing because it was pop-unders. Basically, people have this piece of software on their website. They went to a site called GameVance.com. They downloaded some free games or whatever. They checkbox the terms and conditions, and then in order to play the free games, they have to agree to use the software, which gives them the pop-unders on their computer. So there's only 2, maybe 3 million total users, if that, in the US. So yeah, not 300 million on Google, only 3 million. So literally 1% of the available traffic, that you think is out there. So a lot smaller pool. So I couldn't just bet on make money online. Not going to be enough traffic, right? So I had to be a little bit more creative. And I taught people, basically, you could go to websites. I'll give you an example of what not to do. Some black hat marketers would make pop-unders, and you can do it on keywords, or you can target URLs. So you can actually go to people's websites and say, oh, this is a really good offer. I want my pop-up to come underneath their offer. So what I did is I went to ClickBank, and I'm like, I'm going to pop under every freaking offer in this space and try and get them over to either another offer, or maybe try and swipe that affiliate cookie, do whatever the hell I got to do to get a sale out of that. And some black hat marketers figured out what the login pages were for Chase Bank and First National Bank and all these different banks. So what they did is, after you logged into your bank account, you go to the bank account URL, your login, dashboard, or whatever you call it. Then a pop-up would go, whoop, whoop. Your account has been hacked or something like that, potentially hacked, confirm your identity and, get this identity theft software. It was LifeLock affiliate or something like that. So LifeLock found out about it. The PPV network found out about it, and they got banned from both. But that was I saw that, and I'm like, that's really creative. You're basically taking somebody where what website they're on and what state of mind that they're in. If they're logging into their bank account and they hear root alert, they're going to be like, oh shit, where's my money? Is my money still here? Did my identity get, stolen? Like what's the problem? So I basically figured out what offers were getting lots of traffic already just by shotgunning around with my campaigns. I'm like, oh, this person's like, I can get like 500 popovers or pop unders a day from this. So let's say the offer was XYZ supplement. I'd basically do a pop under, hey, before you buy XYZ supplement, and they'd be like, where's that audio coming from? They click it and it would say, buy this instead, or buy it through this link and you get my bonus, something like that. So it was a really easy way to, again, like swipe in and get that traffic. And now most people would say like, oh, banners don't work or pop unders, pop-ups don't work. You can get anything to convert if you come at it at a different angle and you're creative about it and you're congruent with whatever that mindset is that the prospect is in.
Now, everyone's really big on, obviously, Facebook right now is the Google AdWords of back in 2008 when we got started. What are your thoughts about Facebook? What are some, maybe some words of warning that you would give people on Facebook? Is it a strategy that you're focused on at this point?
Yeah, I'd say about 20% of the traffic or so, maybe 25% of the traffic is Facebook. I mean, I still do Facebook Lives pretty regularly now, once a week, maybe twice a week. And I'll do boost posts and that kind of stuff. My thing with Facebook is you don't own the data. If your Facebook account gets slapped or suspended, if your Facebook fan page gets shut down, I don't care how many likes you got; it's worthless now. So that was something where I see a lot of people, they got 100,000, 500,000 or more likes on their fan page, and I'm like, man, I hope you've got an opt-in page or you're running traffic somewhere to get those emails, because even if like Aweber suspended me tomorrow, I don't care. I back up my list like weekly. I'll take my list somewhere else. Yeah, you can't download your Instagram followers. You can't take your Twitter following and move them over to Snapchat or something like that. Now you can try and get your Snapchat people by saying on Snapchat, hey guys, add me on Instagram and then have that kind of thing. But now you're managing 5 different social profiles. That doesn't sound like a lifestyle business. That sounds like a freaking job. Like I don't want to do that crap. You know what I mean? So for me, it's always with Facebook. I'm going to do Facebook ads, but I want to get their freaking email. And if I can't get their email, I'm going to pixel them and I'm still going to remarket to them, again, with Facebook or maybe with other platforms as well. But I still love Facebook just because the targeting is amazing. Just like the example that I gave with pop-up ads, that congruency, you can have complete and utter congruency with Facebook based upon your targeting. So if you're targeting, I mean, you can't really do it with like leaders' names or company names necessarily due to trademark infringement. Don't do that. But you can basically say, you know what? I want to target email marketers. I'm going to target everybody that's in like get response. All right, get response ad, whatever. Sorry. Like my phone's buzzing and it's on the desk and it's like vibrating the mic, whatever. ADHD. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it all comes down to congruency. So no matter who you're targeting, your ad, your headline on your capture page, and that target market should all be, same, basically. That's going to definitely help out with your conversions.
You obviously do a lot with email marketing. That's your main focus. And, you've been throwing out some pretty massive numbers when you're talking about generating leads and subscribers and building your email list. Some of the work that you guys are doing right now. If somebody wants to move into that level, like move into the space of, doing some of the stuff that you're doing, what can you kind of share with us? What is the strategy that you're focused on right now? What are you helping your clients to achieve, those who are interested in growing their subscriber base as quickly as you're able to right now? Yeah, exactly. So, I started doing email marketing like most people here listening are probably doing, which is doing solo ads or doing Facebook ads and, bring them to a capture page and building your email list. And if you want to add, 5 to 500 emails a day, I mean, you can do that with solo ads if your budget, allows you to. But I realized like, how can I take away more of the risk for people? So about 2.5 years ago, I think it was now, I started a service called Guaranteed Prospects, where we basically did done-for-you lead generation. And we generate leads for between like $1 and $1.50, something like that, leads for clients. And I realized that I didn't control, we never had any problems delivering leads and delivering them at the cost that we said we were going to. It was more of I don't have control over my vendors, and you always look for bottlenecks in your business. And I realized, okay, if I've got one vendor, if that one vendor has any issues,
that business that's done 250,000 leads in the last 2 years or so for clients is going to be 0 leads next year. So I need to start to diversify. And when I started to try and figure out, okay, how are they getting their leads, and working my way, like I said before in our previous conversation, working my way up that chain of command, basically, how much further, from these branches can I get closer to the base
source?
Yeah, exactly, to the source.
Yeah.
So I learned a couple of things. One is there's a lot of people with existing lists that aren't doing crap with their lists, especially if you look at people that are in like the supplement industry, fitness industry. A lot of them, they want to generate that list to promote that fitness product that they have. If they're doing like some kind of like a skincare supplement, they're busy promoting that skincare supplement. But now they've got a list of 500,000 people that are females between the ages of 35 and 55, something like that. And you're like, wow, that is a demographic that spends a crap ton of money in lots of other markets. What can you do? And it was interesting. I heard Ryan Dice and Perry Belcher, I think, talk about the same thing with traffic and conversion, where they realized that, believe it or not, the same demographics that were buying, I think, like Survival Life, were actually like still geared towards like cosmetics or something random like that. And you're like, that doesn't even make sense. How does that even work? And it's like, no, like if you look at the data, we put it through this filter and that filter, and this is what we realized about the demographics that we're purchasing. It's like, oh, wow, that's crazy. Didn't know that. So for me, instead of me going out there and starting campaigns from scratch and having to optimize and putting all that risk, it became, okay, how do I find people that have a list of 10,000, 100,000, 500,000 that isn't utilizing it as well as they should be, and go to them and just say, hey, how can we get access to your list? How can we rev share on your list? How can we earn you some money? Or in another case, people that maybe have newer lists, but they've got a viral website that they're getting 5,000 opt-ins a day. We basically go to them and say, well, right now people opt in and it says, thanks for subscribing. How about we just add below that, hey, thanks for subscribing. As a free bonus, we're going to give you this ebook that's related to whatever niche that they're opting into. And they just have to, it automatically puts their email back into this next form, and they click on submit. And it basically, they've already got the email on their list. It's just transferring it to another list. So I basically can buy the email from them for $1, and I'll sell it to $1.50, to somebody else. So 5,000 leads a day, and you're even 500 leads a day, and you're making 50 cents on each of those. That adds up pretty quick. So if you're talking 5,000 leads a day, 50 cents a piece, that's $2,500 a day in pure profit, and you're not generating any of the traffic. And you don't even have to email the leads, and you can actually negotiate it so that you get the leads too. Once I learned that, I was like, oh crap, so like the first part, we've already done some deals now where we're actually leveraging people with existing lists. This next 30 to 60 days that we're moving into is doing more of the deals where we're doing not just rev share testing, we're doing like arbitrage basically with lead generation. So I think it's going to be crazy. So it's going to be interesting doing, 5,000 leads per day, and we want to scale that up even more. And the interesting thing is I already know guys that are in the supplement space that are doing 30,000 leads a day, and they're paying like $1.50, $2 for them. And when you go to them and say, hey, can we pay you 50 cents for each one of the, each or $1 for each one of those, we're going to get them cheaper than they paid for them. And we just cut their marketing costs in half. It's a win-win. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Pretty exciting stuff. So now obviously what you had said to me is that this is a service that you're offering to some of your subscribers. It is kind of a limited service. So again, if what you're hearing is perking your interest here, you're going to want to check out Adam's website and stay in touch, because once in a while he releases these opportunities, for these lead generation campaigns. So you definitely want to pay attention to that. Adam, we got to wrap this up, man. We could stay on here for like another hour and just talk traffic and marketing, but we got to wrap it up. So let's put a nice little bow on this. In the premium case study episode, Adam's actually going to walk us through one of his funnels, one of his processes. That is something you do not want to miss, because, here's a marketer who's been generating tons of traffic, millions of dollars in revenue. And you definitely want to learn, his approach to marketing and sales funnels. So make sure you check that out in the case study. Adam, let's wrap this up really nicely here. We got people listening on the show right now. They want to take their business to the next level, wherever they're at, in the next 90 days. Give us 3 tips for what they need to focus on to create a breakthrough in their business in the next 90 days.
Step one, break through whatever fear that you have, that fear of failure or even fear of success. You just need to like not focus on what could go wrong and start focusing on what can go right. So that's definitely number one. Second thing is focus on one marketing strategy. I don't care if it's Instagram or Facebook or email. Pick one thing that resonates with you and then shut everything else off and just focus on that one thing, because otherwise you're going to be doing what this is. This is kind of like a cluster F of a spreadsheet of, okay, we're gonna do a video on Facebook, and then we're gonna pull the video off of Facebook and upload it to YouTube, and then we're gonna have the video transcribed, and we're gonna take that text and we're gonna put that on our blog and these article websites, and then we're gonna make a PDF out of it. And then it's just like, you can get into a cluster F of just like busy work, creating content, and not generate a damn lead. I'd much rather you have tens of thousands of leads and then send an email that took you 15 or 20 minutes to write and actually monetize those leads. So get really focused on one marketing strategy and get those leads. And that's a good tie into the third one, is get good at sales and marketing, which is, it really comes down to, most people don't understand that if you're going to be in an online business opportunity, especially, you need to understand sales, and everything is a sales process. And one of the things I'm actually going to talk to you more about in the case study in the next video is the fact that, most people barely understand their sales process online, and they don't even ask the main question, which basically allows you to figure out what's broken in your sales funnel. And if you don't know this one question, you're kind of lost, in terms of like, I don't know what's going on. What's going on with my funnel? Why am I not making money? And I'm going to give you one extra tip. Use open loops. And that's my open loop, is I'm not going to tell you that one question until you watch the case study video. Open loop for the win.
Marketing and sales in action right there. Adam, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for being here, giving your time. Amazing value, incredible knowledge and experience here that you shared. Really looking forward to the case study. So I want to just congratulate you on all your success. I'm looking forward to what you got in store for 2017. And again, just thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, Norb. Thanks, man.
All right. Awesome. Okay, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know you did. Take action on what you learned here, and we will see you in the case study, and we will see you next week on another episode. All right, everyone. Take care.
I hope you enjoyed this week's Playmaker session. If you love the session, subscribe now to our YouTube channel so you never miss our weekly episodes. Be sure to also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Just type in Online Playmakers in the search bar and click subscribe, and be sure to leave a 5-star review. All of the episodes, show notes, transcripts, resources, and bonuses are available on the blog over at onlineprofitplaybook.com, along with several bonus free tutorials I've created for you as well. Your fast track to results is to follow the Playmakers. You can download their closely guarded playbooks and follow them step by step to grow your influence, build your audience, and create results in your business right now. Head over to onlineprofitplaybook.com and join the Playmakers to get full access today. Thank you again for joining us today, and be sure to tune in next week as we bring you another power-packed session with the top Playmakers online. This is Norbert Orlowitz, signing off.